story is one of those key elements of games that really affect the reception of the player, and Sonic Unleashed is no exception. Sonic Unleashed, in my opinion, out of all the Sonic games I've played, 1, 2, 3, Adventure 1, Adventure 2, 4 Episode 1, 4 Episode 2, Olympics, Colors, Generations, Forces of Mania, not a single one of them had a better story than Unleashed. I mean, maybe you could say SA2 is better, but I would just say they're at a tie. Now to prove my point, let's walk you through the story. I'll try my best to keep shit about spoilers. Okay, we start off with a beautiful, well-animated rendered cinematic cutscene. This scene introduces us to our plot: the Werehog, the Earth Destroyed, Dark Gaia, Project Edwingland, and Ship. A lot to take in, but I really like it a lot. The next cutscene, we get to play as Sonic. We learn more about the ship and the Chaos Emeralds. After playing as Sonic, we get to the night. In this scene, we learn about the Werehog. We learn it has special abilities like strength, fast reflexes, and stretchy arms. After we play as the Werehog, we learn that Dark Gaia has sent his minions all around the world, and this location is one of them. From there, we beat the minions and save Tails. We learn more about Tails, and we then go on to the Tornado. After a flight mission, we finally reach Begonia. We learn that Professor Pickle knows how to stop Dark Gaia, but he's kidnapped in Missouri, and we must save him from being kidnapped. Once we save him after being a night stage, he teaches us about Dark Gaia and what is it. He then teaches how to restore the Chaos Emeralds and put the planet back together. They must find the temple in Missouri and give the temple the emerald. We go to Missouri and onto the search. After we clear all the robots, we finally meet Eggman. After beating him, we get the key. This key is earned after each boss. See what I mean? Everything you do in this game has purpose and a motivation. It is not forced at all. This game's gameplay ties in perfectly with the story really well, and making you feel like each time you beat a stage or complete a level, you actually feel like you're doing something and progressing with the story. All of this is packed into one big fat rollercoaster of a ride. I mean, it's just so fun and well written. Everything you do has a purpose and you feel like you're a hero saving the people around you. If you play this game, you know what I'm talking about. This game's story feels like how Sonic should feel. Now I look on Generations, and a lot of people say this story is very bland and short, and I kinda wanna agree with that. To start off, we get introduced to the white space and the time meter. All of Sonic's friends gets turned into a dead statue where they are conscious but can't move and all they see is darkness.
I thought I was dead, floating without a body in a black limbo.
Anyways, Sonic friends in iconic places of the franchise gets turned into white, and Sonic has to run through them or something to return color. Yeah, that makes no sense. Anyways, every time Sonic does this, they bring back another character. You then get introduced to classic Sonic, and from that point, the story starts to get boring and repetitive. From there, rinse and repeat 3 times. Boss, cutscene, 3 levels. Boss, cutscene, 3 levels. Cutscene, final boss. Like, it's really short and there's not that much of character development. Generation's story is just really straightforward and there wasn't really any. We don't get to see our characters develop too much, and the game doesn't really add too much either. I mean, the only things that we see happen in the cutscenes is that Sonic and Tails take literally half of the entire game to figure out that they were stuck in time, and they must have used a time meter to fix time. Which also, by the way, just that makes like actual no sense. Like, what the heck? It's literally the easiest stuff that anyone with 2 eyes and a brain could understand. Like, of course you're stuck in time. Generations really has the most simple and straightforward storyline, and it doesn't encompass that too well either. Because the plot of Generations deals with the time, and you would think that the game would go really in depth into the rules and how controls it and what the controller can do, but we don't get anything at all. And we don't even get the answers to the more thought-provoking questions like, how is classic Sonic meeting modern? Why are the past stages turned into white and how? Why does Sonic, and specifically Sonic, is able to return to color? All of these don't get answers and leaves the story quite unclear and doesn't feel like an actual story. In this game, Generations has around 10 total cutscenes, and while Unleashed has like 30, which is clearly a big step up. Another point goes to Unleashed. Okay, it's about time. Time for Generations to get a point. Alright, let's go with Unleashed first and then we'll head to Generations next. So despite how much I love Unleashed, a flaw it has that I can't ignore is the controls. I mean, to give a basis, Generations has the exact same moveset as Unleashed except for trick moves and the light speed dash, which can only be used in certain areas. Unleashed uses the boost formula, which I think is a great mechanic and can be proven to be well done in this game. I also like how this game uses the wall jumping, slide, drift, and quick step mechanic to keep the gameplay tone not so boost to win. But there was always 2 things that bothered me about Unleashed and its controls: the drift and the homing attack. We'll start with the homing attack. Now, why do I hate this mechanic? I mean, it's been an iconic move, of Sonic since 1998 of Sonic Adventure. And it's not because of the reach or the response time. I actually think those two are perfectly balanced. It's the square button. To give a heads up for people who don't understand, the X button is always a standard jump button, and square is the boost button. And since 1998, the homing attack has been always done by using X again midair. So guess what? Because this game has this square button matched with a homing attack and a boost, if you don't time your homing attack correctly, you'll end up boosting across the stage unintentionally, and usually 6 times out of 10, falling off the stage, which can be a huge bummer and insult to the amount of speed you've gone already. I mean, let's say you were at a perfect run, at max speed, and you hit a homing attack section, and you boost straight off the map. This can be really annoying at times and can really drain your life count. As you play the game more, at least you get used to this mechanic. So it's not too bad, but still annoying at times, even after playing a while. Next thing is the drift. The drift in this game is absolutely unpredictable, and you'll usually find yourself not using it for how bad it is. The drift mechanic is meant to be used in tight corners, but it doesn't even turn you that tight, and more just turns you widely, and making it sometimes really hard to use. Most of the time, you're gonna be needing to hit the drift button for around a good 2 seconds before needing to get it to work properly as intended, which completely defeats the purpose. And to make myself clear, I'm not saying this game's gameplay is horrible or not fun at all. I'm just saying it has some minor flaws that don't really affect the gameplay too much when you get the hang of it. In fact, I actually completely love this game's gameplay, constantly keeping on your toes and making an absolute thriller of fast dodging and using your mechanics to succeed through the level. It's quite fun and I actually recommend it. It just has the tiniest of flaws, but that doesn't mean it has no flaws. And fortunately, Generations fixes these. Because Generations is built off of Unleashed, they were able to keep the bounce controls and fix the errors like bringing back the X button to the homing attack, and the drift to be predictable and useful. Long story short, Generations are at this point.